He didn't say much. Looked like a man who kept to himself, flannel shirt rolled to the forearms, faded jeans, old boots, and that brown cap pulled just low enough to shade his eyes. No logos, no slogans, just a man-shaped silence. His shooting stance? Old school. Tight. Smooth. Controlled. He wasn't fast, but he didn't need to be. Every shot hit home. Perfect grouping. No wastid motion. And irregulars? They just figured he was some retired trucker, burning ammo to pass the time until the kid noticed the tattoo. Not a flashy one, not screaming for attention. Just a number, a symbol, not the kind you pick off a menu, but the kind you earn. Jared, young SEAL recruit, fresh off basic and full of certainty, caught a glimpse as the man reloaded and froze. You could see it hit him: recognition, reverence, maybe even a little fear. He didn't say anything at first. Just stood a little straighter, watched a little closer. That's when things got real quiet at the range. The old man Martin came in early. Always did. Signed in slow, deliberate. Just the last name. No rank. No chit-chat. Walked to lane 7 like it was part of him. That was his spot. Farthest from the noise, the Bluetooth speakers, the guys who measured manhood by magazine size. Every time, same gear. One pistol case, one box of .45s, one battered thermos. That was it. He didn't pick up his brass. Didn't glance at anyone else. Just shot 30 rounds and left. Now, most folks didn't notice, too caught up in their own noise. But the ones who knew, who'd seen precision before, who knew what to look for, they noticed. And Jared, being one of those guys in the know, couldn't help himself. After watching a few rounds, hearing that rhythm: 3 shots, pause, 2 shots, Reese leaned over and asked, "That ain't that's first recon, isn't it?" Martin didn't turn. Just squeezed off one last shot, set the pistol down slow, then turned those calm eyes toward him. "Once," he said. "That's all. One word. But it spoke volumes." Jared understood. That kind of pass doesn't fatigue, it sinks deep and settles. He didn't press. Just nodded and stepped back. But his grip was different now, his focus altered. You could tell something had shifted in him. Meanwhile, Martin kept shooting. Calm. Measured. Every motion, the kind that doesn't come from training, it comes from living it, day after day, in places most of us only hear about in rumors and classified footnotes. 15 minutes later, Martin was done. 30 shots. Inner circle, every single one. Clean his weapon right there, no rush. Jared stepped over again, quieter this time. "Sir, if you don't mind, what did you serve?" Martin looked up. Not annoyed, not guarded. Just still. 66 to 74, he said. "Recon. Southeast Asia." Jared swallowed hard. That fit. Everything fit. The ink, the stance, the way he moved like someone who once had to move through jungle shadows, counting breaths between mines. "You were in Laos?" Jared asked. Martin nodded. "Among other places." And just like that, the conversation closed. Gently but firmly, like a door cracked just wide enough to say, "You can look, but don't come in." But that was enough. Because sometimes the truth doesn't need a spotlight. Just a sliver of acknowledgement. The young recruits? Still joking, laughing, betting beers on shot placement. But Jared stood quieter now, more watchful. And so did a few others. They started catching the rhythm in Martin's hands. Started feeling the weight of silence settle over lane 7 like fog. "Did you ever train with the SEALs?" Jared asked. Martin let a ghost of a smile tug at his mouth. "Back then, we all did a little of everything. You swam, you survived, or you didn't." That grin Jared gave, it wasn't about humor. It was respect. "Sir, my CO told us a story. 71, deep jungle recovery. Team lead got hit, but carried 2 guys out under fire. They said it was sealed for years." Martin blinked slowly. A lot of things were sealed for years. And that was it. Nothing more. No bragging. No connection. Just a gentle close of the curtain. Because legends don't explain themselves, they endure. As Martin packed up and turned to leave, Jared did something rare. He stood at attention. No joke. No salute. Just straight-backed respect. Martin paused, walked back, and pressed something into Jared's hand. A coin. Not decorative. Not shiny. Heavy. Real. First recon insignia on one side. One word on the other. Still here. And then he said, "You'll know when it's your time to go quiet. Until then, earn it." Then walked off into the rising sun like he'd finished his business with the day. The range got quiet after that, not in volume, but in tone. Something had shifted. The guys weren't mocking anymore. They were thinking. Jared stared at the coin, thumb tracing its edge like it was sacred. He didn't say anything at first. Just walked to the counter, placed the coin down, and asked, "You know this man?" The clerk squinted. "Lane 7? Martin." "First name?" Jared asked. The guy clicked a few keys. "T. Martin. Signed up almost 10 years ago. Cash only. No email. Says here, do not publish for recognition, events, or honors." "Huh. That's rare. Any idea why?" Jared asked. The guy shrugged. "Only thing he ever said to me was once when I thanked him for his service. He looked me dead in the eye and said, 'I didn't do it for you to thank me.'" Then he chuckled nervously. Jared didn't laugh. That night, Jared couldn't sleep. Around midnight, he cracked open his laptop, started digging declassified archives, redacted records, old unit logs. Most of it was shredded, sanitized. But deep in a mission brief from March 71, he found it. One line. Staff Sergeant Thomas Martin. First Recon. Laos. Extraction under fire. Recovered 7. Refused medevac. Wounded twice. Declined award. Asset considered irreplaceable. Now silent. That last word hit harder than a rifle, but silent. That was the code. Do the job. Don't write books. Don't brag. Don't post. Just carry it. Quiet. Forever. Next week, Martin showed up again. Same gear. Same pace. But everything else? Different. Jared and 3 others were already there, standing near the back. No jokes now. No bits. Just a quiet, reverent presence. When Martin passed, they straightened up. Not in a forced way, just out of something deeper. Something earned. Martin didn't acknowledge it, but he noticed. Fewer loud voices. More measured pauses. A little less ego, a little more respect. Halfway through his second string, Jared stepped forward with a new box of ammo. "I figured 30 wasn't enough today." Martin took it without a word. But that nod he gave, it landed heavy, like saying, "You're getting it now." Afterward, he sipped from his thermos on the bench, like always, and one by one, the young men passed by quiet, individual. A nod. A handshake. "Sir." Petty, the loudest one from last week, lingered. "We looked you up," he said. "You saved a lot of people." Martin wiped his thermos with his sleeve. They saved each other. Nothing more needed. Jared sat beside him. "You ever think about teaching?" Martin exhaled. "Spent 30 years trying to forget everything I teach. But some of us need to remember." "You don't teach this," Martin said eventually. "You absorb it. Quietly. Over time." Jared nodded. "That's why I'm still listening." Martin looked at him for a long beat. "Then don't talk so much." They both smiled. Before leaving, Martin left the fresh ammo box untouched. Small gesture, but it said everything. That afternoon, the staff added a brass plate above Lane 7. Didn't say hero or legend. Just Lane reserved until he says otherwise. Martin never asked who put it there. Never said a word about it. But he never told them to take it down either. Because some men don't teach with speeches. They teach by showing up. They don't need applause. They just need someone to notice. And once that happens, once the silence is finally hard, it changes everything. So let me ask you, have you ever met someone like Martin? A quiet man who never told war stories, never bragged, just carried history in his bones and let the world forget. Until someone remembered? Say their name in the comments. Share their story. Remind the world who they were before the silence. Because sometimes the most powerful stories aren't the ones we shout theory, the ones we wait long enough to hear. And if this one reached you, share it. Let others feel that silence. Let them know the old man at the range isn't always just an old man. Watch his stance. Watch his eyes. You might just be standing next to a living history book who chose peace after war and carried both with grace.